So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies.
Defending Utah covers the stories others are just too often afraid to touch.
They don't nibble around the edges when it comes to pointing out threats to our liberty. They're not afraid to name names and call out organizations.
This is Defending Utah Radio, every Friday morning at 9 on K-Talk 1640. Defending Utah. Think right and wrong, not right and left. Join Defending Utah, because if you're not already on a government watch list, you should be.
Good Friday, Freedom Friday morning. It is October 4th, 2019. It's 10:06 a.m., and we are right here on K-Talk AM 1640. I am Ben McClintock here with
Micah Turner
from defendingutah.org, right here on K-Talk every Friday morning from 9 to 11. So set your alarm clocks to make sure that you're tuning in, and make sure that you are downloading the Defending Utah app to your phone, because we've got our past programs. Maybe you didn't listen to the whole thing. You're like, wow, I want to catch the rest of that, like last hour's interview with Ann Blake Tracy, which Micah just loved. It just was.
Or maybe you want to cause controversy at your Thanksgiving
and play it during Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Or, you could play our satanic ritual abuse hour over the speakers on Halloween night when trick-or-treaters come by.
Yes.
You could do that.
That is, actually, that's a good idea, actually.
And
because no one can accuse you of, trying to cause problems. Like, it's Halloween.
It's Halloween. And
show up dressed as a monster. I'm playing monster stuff.
And or you could also on the app, there are things that we don't air over the radio, and so there's stuff that you're going to be missing if you're not downloading the app. Subscribe if you're on an Android, or if you're on an iPhone. Make sure you do that on the podcast app. You're subscribing to Defending Utah Radio, and if you like what we're doing, we think that it'd be awesome of you if you would help us out. We can't do this program without you. So become a member, or do a one-time donation. Membership gets you all kinds of awesome perks. And
you're forgetting the word exclusive.
Which exclusive?
I don't know. Just put it in there somewhere so that
exclusive member benefits.
People like that. They like the word exclusive,
and it's true. There are exclusive member benefits.
Way exclusive.
So,
especially if you get the app, very exclusive. And premium.
That's free, though.
Premium.
There is exclusive stuff on the free app.
Premium deluxe exclusive things.
But if you like what we do, it'd be nice of you to help out.
Yes.
So
we always need more help.
Always need more help. So in more ways than one.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get some Prozac.
Oh, man. Something you hear a lot with the climate, global warming, climate change, global cooling arguments is that the science is settled.
People who say that have no idea what they're talking about on so many levels.
Science is never settled. That's the definition of science. Yeah. B, I want to read to you from an official government report that was in the U.S. government official statistical report put out by Dr. Robert Bartholow, who was the Army's medical department in the U.S. Army's medical department. He says, quote, "The Mormon, of all the human animals now walking this globe, is the most curious in every relation. The yellow, sunken, cadaverous visage, the greenish-colored eyes, the thick, protuberant lips, the low forehead, the light yellowish hair, the lank, angular person constitute an appearance so characteristic of the new race of the Mormon."
And, this reminds me of something. So I think a lot of Mormons in the state maybe have heard this, but, a lot of people seriously think that Mormons have tails and horns.
And horns. Oh, in high school, my sister actually had one of her friends feel her forehead for the horns.
Yeah, and I, when I was in the Marine Corps, I had several times, guys come up to me like, "Is it true that Mormons," and they were being serious.
Right.
Like, "Do you have a tail, horns?" And and each time I just looked at them are you out of your mind? I mean, what you just?
The science is settled, Micah. I mean, you got tails and a horn, okay?
Yeah. And so I'm just saying that to relate, because this whole thing, if I close my eyes and I listen to you reading it, I'm like, this is a joke. But then I remember I had fools coming up to me asking me if I had horns and a tail. You know, and it's like this is a legitimate thing.
This is a scientific report that was published by the U.S. government that Mormons are a species. Now, I know you can't see us over the radio, Micah, but does this
I can see us over the radio.
Does this describe you? Do you have a yellow, sunken, cadaverous visage? Are your eyes greenish?
No.
Is your hair light yellowish?
My hair is black. My eyes are black, just like my soul. But I do have a cadaverous visage.
Well, you do have a cadaverous visage. So when people say the science is settled, I want you to remember this quote from the U.S. government's statistical report.
Yes. It came from the government. It must be true.
It must be true. And another thing that we're seeing in the government today is the science being settled about man-made climate change. Now, you can do the Googles. It's on NASA's official website. Guess.
I love how they moved NASA into the climate debate.
Well, there's that. But this is really interesting. Is NASA is telling us that Mars, their ice caps are melting just like ours, and I feel really bad that my reproduction and my driving of a vehicle is causing.
And you're eating up too many hot dogs.
And my eating of too many hot dogs is causing the ice caps on Mars to melt.
Because you know it's a legit explanation when it works for everything.
For everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so yes. So man-made climate change on Mars is really destroying the planet. It's just pretty soon Mars is not going to be livable if this continues.
There goes my vacation plans.
And it's ridiculous that people would think that we would be able to do this to the Earth. First of all, I mean, all of this. You know, if you actually look at the if you look at the science that isn't controlled by the establishment, it's obviously, if there's any kind of change, it's cyclical, not just seasons, but it's actually something that's causing other planets to have changes as well. But because people have been so brainwashed into believing, and the climate change debate as well as the satanic ritual debate, this is actually where the two converge, okay? And I'm going to play this.
Yes, they do.
This video clip of a town hall meeting with Alexandria something Cortez. AOC is I can never pronounce
the
her name
crazy lady who wants to murder everyone.
And so there was this town hall where somebody in the audience had some interesting solutions to the climate change problem, and we're going to play this for you. That's muted. Hold on real quick. Okay, and go.
But we're not going to be here for much long because of the climate crisis. We only have a few months left. I love that you support the Green Deal, but it's not getting rid of fossil fuel. It's not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, we can eat dead people, but that's not fast enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time. There's too much CO2. All of you're a pollutant. Too much CO2. We have to start now, please. You are so great. I'm so happy that you're really supporting the Green Deal, but it's not enough. Even if we would bomb Russia, we still have too many people, too much pollution. So we have to get rid of the babies. That's a big problem. Just stopping having babies is not enough. We need to eat the babies, and this is very serious. Please give a response.
Thank you. We'll go ahead.
She's just saying what the Eugenic Council of the 20s was saying.
Right.
She's just saying what the Trilateral Commission has been saying. She's just saying what every global warmist doesn't realize what they're saying.
Right.
Just saying what the Georgia Guidestones say.
Right.
She's just saying flat, and now they're all like, "Whoa, no, wait a second," because I don't know anything about what the heck they're agreeing to when they're thinking of this global warming scam.
The audience is a little upset, but I want to play Cortez's response.
Oh yes, this is going to be good.
Okay. No, we'll go ahead. It's no.
So is she going to condemn baby eating?
Yeah, no. Thank you. So I think
they're delicious with barbecue sauce.
Yeah, no. So one of the things that's very important to us is that we need to treat the climate crisis with the urgency that it does present. Luckily, we have more than a few months. We do need to hit net zero in several years.
Net zero.
But I think we all need to understand that there are a lot of solutions that we have and that we can pursue, and that if we act in a positive way, there's space for hope.
But so there's a lot of different solutions, and we're not ruling out eating the babies.
It's just, oh, man. Look, anything...
She didn't condemn eating babies. That's insanity.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to the fundamentals here.
You did not just say that. You did not just say that.
Okay. This is really important. Okay. Anything that goes against God's plan is wrong.
Okay.
If it's science, it's not science.
Right.
If it's information, it's propaganda. If it's so global warming is too many kids,
man-made crop,
too many people,
right? All
man-made. That's the whole thing of it is to create a culture of eugenicists, a whole culture of eugenicists. God wants you to repopulate and multiply and replenish the earth.
And these guys are saying
global warming,
the exact opposite.
Yeah, global warming says no, less people.
Bombing Russia's not quite enough. We need to eat the babies.
Yeah, like that woman is literally insane. She's just a propaganda slurper. She's a useless eater.
What's interesting? So, just so you know,
if
there's
she's
actually
so concerned. Maybe she should take care of it herself.
A conservative group has come out and take claim for this. Like this was just her trolling AOC.
It wasn't.
It was a troll.
Oh, that's funnier. I feel so tricked.
And this to me reveals the bigger issue is that AOC didn't condemn her. She didn't say that's radical, that's insane. We're not eating babies. She just said, well, we've got a lot of different solutions we got to look at.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 801-254-1640 is the number. Caller, you're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah from defendingutah.org.
Hey, Ben and Micah, it's Jerem. What's up?
Hey, Jerem.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you guys should put that clip where she was saying we need to eat the babies just like on the end of every Defending Utah video.
That'll be our new Trump thing.
New slogan.
He keeps saying, "Take the guns, due process second."
Dude, it'll be eat the babies.
Yeah, we'll do both of those together.
Yeah, it'd be marvelous. Yeah, that's all I really had to say.
Hey, thanks, Jerem. Appreciate the call. There's no, we're not eating babies. No, we're not killing babies. No, we're not bombing Russia. Her response, this sitting congresswoman says, you know what? We got to treat this seriously, and there's a lot of different solutions we got to look at. I mean, that seems like a basic thing is like, I condemn baby eating. Might be the easiest thing for any politician to, plant their flag in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty easy hill to take.
That's not I hope that's not controversial. Maybe I'm wrong. If you think that eating the babies is the proper solution to climate change, give us a call, 801-254-1640.
Why do you always do that? Nobody's ever going to call.
I'm hoping.
One day I'm going to purposely not come here. You're going to do that, and then I'm going to call, and I'm going to be like, eating babies is the way to go, bro. I got my baby sauce. I got my baby. I got to put them together on the grill.
On the grill.
I'm not a monster. I'm not like going to sushi the baby.
No, that's wrong. you might not be in favor of baby eating, but you really are convinced that driving cars and burning wood in your stove is causing the ice caps on Mars to melt. Maybe that's what you really believe.
Staying alive and getting around
is wrong. But this has been a serious thing. Is the population agenda, like you said, all those different things, the eugenicists, the Georgia Guidestones, you have the Trilateral Commission, the CFR, the United Nations, all saying the same.
Yeah.
Essentially the same thing.
Yeah, like you go to the Georgia Guidestones made by some Silicon Valley
elitist,
tech giant guy. I can't remember his name. Anyway, but like in there, it's like population of the Earth has to be below 500,000,
right?
Or to make life sustainable, and like, people go to that, they're like, oh yeah, I was like, I kind of agree with this, no, and it's like, are you kidding me? It's like totally wrong on its face. There's already like 6 billion people on the Earth, and they're saying that there can only be 500. I mean, it's like,
well, that goes back to the United Nations
false.
UNESCO document saying we need to kill 300,000 people a day. It's a horrible thing to say, but somebody's got to say it.
Somebody's got to say it. My name is Jacques Cousteau. Right? That's who said it, right?
That's who said it but it was published in the UN's UNESCO documents. And so it's official UN policy that we got to start killing 300 people a day.
Yeah.
And so people say, well, okay, she's a troll. Okay, fine, but and AOC didn't condemn it. Well, but no, this isn't official policy. No, it's official policy of the United Nations that they're working towards knocking off 300,000 people a day.
Yeah, they're definitely getting closer with all their money that they're stealing from us and giving to Planned Parenthood.
And then you got the Prozac stuff that we talked about the last hour. There's several. I mean, there's just numerous programs that are helping them to implement this program that is, of course, is based on the science.
I think even the the 15-year-old girl who accidentally gets pregnant, like even them are like, well, I don't. Even if they totally slurp up propaganda and they're like, it's totally not a baby inside me or whatever, it's totally just a mass of cells. Even them, like instinctually, a woman doesn't want to like get rid of their baby.
Right.
So it's got to be free to motivate these women to do this horrendous thing.
Put the pressure on them.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Line 5, you're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah from Defending You.
What's with our phone lines today? They've been weird.
Okay, line 3, you're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah.
Well, yes, the Martian
Truck driver Ray.
The Martian coming around these parts again.
Well, I just had to remind everybody, wasn't it George Orwell back in the 40s or 50s that the Martians invaded us, and they're still here. They've been eating babies for a long time.
People.
They're not that
Isn't
bad
that
once
from
you
V?
get to know them.
Wasn't that like the TV show V?
I don't know.
Yeah, they even made several movies out of the War of the Worlds. Yeah, we've been invaded.
But also because they used too much carbon emissions and they had to leave Mars.
Yeah, so now they got us to use carbon emissions. Because they want this world.
Those rascally Martians, can't trust them.
No. Well, listen now on the little bit of the serious side. I mean, aren't they using a lot of the parts of abortions in medical science these days?
They use it for vaccinations. They use them for experiments. They use them for the flavoring. Pepsi has used aborted baby parts in studying different flavors. It's used in many different so-called medical uses.
Yes, a lot of people don't believe that.
People say that, if you go to Snopes, they'll say, this is debunked. Well, then why is Planned Parenthood selling these body parts? They're not making $100,000 off of a leg because some weirdo wants to hang it up on their wall.
No. Yeah. Have you seen Unplanned?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Wow.
It's on Amazon right now.
Oh, it is on Amazon.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I've talked to so many people who used to be for choice. After seeing that movie, they say, "Well, you don't know that choice is not the issue here."
Yep.
You know, now, you know, going on another subject a little bit. I don't know if this is true. I mean, you used to be only suspect of the internet. Well, now, you know, of course, we have to be suspect of the major media. And, you know, I heard that that China has these new what do they call them? Are they like hypersonic? Oh no! I'm talking about hypersonic missiles.
Okay.
That is it Mach 10 or something like that. That they had only 30 of them, but actually they have 90 of them, with 5 nuclear warheads on each one. You know, I think a lot of people don't realize, you know, that in America, we've never really had America invaded. You know, all the other continents have been invaded, you know, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And someday, you know, if you look at history, odds are pretty good that someday America, part of America, will be invaded. So I mean, we will need assault rifles to protect ourselves. I mean, do they actually ever think, you know, the build-up with Russia and China and everything, that America will never be invaded, that we will not have to defend ourselves? You know, especially, you know, whatever survives a nuclear attack or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, they're hammering all these, you know, guns, you know, the people having guns, we don't need assault weapons, you know, but I mean, even each town having an arsenal, you know, of real automatic weapons, so that townspeople can go and pass them out and protect themselves if we're ever invaded.
Well, that's all fine and dandy. It still kind of sounds like a massacre to me, but
yes. Yeah, I mean, there's no question we're living in a crazy world. You know, I mean, what's going on right now with President Trump? That how far will these Democrats? You know, I mean, everybody knows what happened with Venezuela. You know, wow, they were one of the vacation places of the rich in the world. And look at the difference between North Korea and South Korea. But half of the United States, these crazy Democrats, they actually think socialism will make America stronger. They don't see how it will destroy America.
I think the Republicans are doing the same thing.
And they do know, and that's the end goal is the destruction so that they can rebuild from the chaos. And so it's
the rise of the phoenix from the ashes.
They know exactly what they're doing. And it's definitely bipartisan betrayal. I appreciate the call, Truck Driver Ray. If you want to be a part of the conversation, give us a call. 801-254-1640 is the number. We're just talking about how the science is settled, right? We quoted from the official government report saying that Mormons are a new species with a cadaverous visage and yellow hair and sunken eyes. We've got these people that are promoting the idea of man-made climate change is
your religion
we got to kill
your
people.
Genetics.
Yeah, duh. And just going throughout the ages, today we've got the science is settled about vaccines, and then back in the 60s you had the science is settled. You know, doctors recommend cigarettes, and you've got this. You know, you go throughout time, the science is always settled, and anybody that goes against the science, you know, today we've got climate change deniers, is what they call us, and you know, you go back through the different ages. And whenever you challenged the science establishment, you're always called. Now they equate it to the Holocaust. You know, you're equivalent to Hitler if you think that humans aren't causing climate change.
I was funded by the Rothschilds and propped up by the U.S. What?
Well, you know, we have our George Soros jetpacks.
Yes, that is true.
That is true.
We do fly about because we're better than everyone else on our jetpacks.
But you go back to Newton, you go back to Columbus. I mean, all these different people that challenged the official line were always attacked by the establishment.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to expect that. You can't be afraid to say, you know what? You know, the vaccine inserts, they say that it causes this damage.
I know. The vaccine companies themselves say that their vaccines are dangerous. Yet when I say it, I must not know anything.
You just don't know
it.
science.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you look at other planets having the same things happen to them as Earth, and you question the idea that me driving a car and having children is causing that to happen to other planets, you're equated to Hitler. I mean, it's the logical fallacies that are used to silence debate should expose the entire program on its face.
Well, you know, for critical thought, people think that you can't teach critical thought. Sometimes I'm inclined to agree.
People are definitely emotion-driven, and the conspiracy has worked hard to manipulate emotions to get us to turn off our thinking, and so that we can just react, like the lady that we played. We'll play it again just for kicks and giggles in a minute, but let's go to the phone line. Let's go to line 5. You're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah from defendingutah.org.
Yeah, I remember back in the 60s, they said in the 70s we were going to be, frozen over. And
yeah, we're going to have another ice age.
Yeah.
It was science.
There's always a new doomsday. There's always a new doomsday because they never reach doomsday, so they have to keep postponing it. Doomsday. Yeah.
They don't remember that, though, but these were the scientists. That was about 1964. I was reading it. The paper was on the news. And, you know, it's probably before you guys' time. But anyway, looks like Hillary's going to run again, and she was on The View the other day.
Hilarious.
I think at this point she's, like, people say, like, puppet president. I think she literally would be a puppet if she ran.
If you've seen Weekend at Bernie's, that's Hillary.
Yeah, they'll have to, like, hold her up with strings. Get her going the thing.
I wonder if Dallin Oaks is going to give his anti-nationalism and anti-patriotism talk again. He did that a year or so ago. I remember watching him at a conference, and he doesn't like, they don't like Trump up there at Left Temple. They want him gone, so they're part of the deep state. But he gave this big talk on how farmers are causing climate change they got too many cattle that are, the methane. And
So what do you think about Trump wanting to take the guns first and due process second?
Well, Trump's all over the wall on that stuff, but I think he's settled back to the Second Amendment. But oh, yeah.
That doesn't sound very Second Amendment. It also doesn't
hear,
sound very
Brother,
due process Fourth Amendment. Nor does it sound like a Sixth or Seventh or Ninth Amendment.
Brother Nelson was in Europe and just a couple of weeks ago, and he says these men that pass these awful laws that let people own these awful guns, it's after the shooting they had.
In Vegas.
I mean, so much for, defending yourself with these guys up at Left Temple. They're totally different than old Ezra Taft Benson. These guys are 180 degrees. All right, see you.
Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to line 3. You're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah.
Hi, you guys used a word I like to use, critical thought.
It's pretty rare.
It always gets me in trouble. Yeah, like, eat the babies. Oh, boy.
If you don't want to eat the babies, you want the planet to die. I mean, that's just...
No, everything goes in cycles. When the Romans marched on Jerusalem, I guess it was a Bible verse saying, "Woe to those that get stuck in them days." The Romans surrounded Jerusalem, and they kept them locked up for 2 years. The food ran out, the water ran out, and they ended up eating their children to stay alive. And then the Romans still got in and killed them all.
Yeah, and we're seeing that right. Well, we're not seeing that right now, but you're looking in Venezuela and how they're going to the zoos to eat the monkeys and all kinds of stuff. And so this is the mentality that is, you look at you got to understand history, because history is repeating itself. Those same things are happening.
And the people who are running this Green New Deal, it's a death cult.
It is.
Quite simply. In fact, you were mentioning about cutting back on carbon. To cut back 80% like they want, we'd have to go back to the turn of the century, somewhere between there and the 1930s, when we only had 1 billion people on the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That means they'll have to get rid of 80% of the carbon usage. They have to get rid of the consumer.
Right.
There's no way around it. You got to eat, and you got to have heat for wintertime. So to get rid of the carbon, you have to get rid of the consumer. That means death for, 1/8 of the population of the planet?
At least.
Yes. So it's a death cult. And there's more to this. The carbon, when you blow on your food, for example, does it catch fire?
Not usually.
I blow on my food.
The breath you breathe out is about 5% carbon dioxide. When you hold your breath, it can be as high as 5%, which is 50,000 parts per million. And you'd think, well, if carbon heats the earth, then what you breathe out would be like a fire-breathing dragon.
Well, sure.
It would heat your food, not cool it down. Now, keep in mind that the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, they're claiming heats the world, is at 400 parts per million. Now, you divide 400 a million, it comes to 2,500. To raise the temperature just 1 degree, that carbon dioxide molecule must heat all 2,500 air molecules around it. Has to be at least 2,500 degrees to impart just 1 degree. It's a law of thermodynamics.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be, you can't escape it. And how's it going to be hotter than molten iron?
You just don't understand science.
Well, apparently not, because once it imparts the heat, it has to gather more heat. Now, that heat only lasts for 1 second. You could do this on a teapot. You know, when you hold your hand over a teapot, it comes out at 220 degrees. You scald yourself. But if you hold your hand just a foot away, it's actually just warm, right?
Right.
That's how fast molecules in the air cool down very quickly to air temperature, because when they escape, they expand out and cool down. So the heat does not retain for very long. And can you imagine how much from the night low time low, the temperature comes up during the daytime, about 30 degrees. And for that carbon dioxide molecule to heat the entire planet, for its 2,500 air molecules around it doing its part, it would have to be somewhere around 8 times hotter than the surface of the sun just to heat it for 30 degrees for the daytime high.
Mm-hmm.
8 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Now, what I'm trying to point out is that there is no science behind carbon dioxide heating the planet or even absorbing heat and re-radiating it. Good grief. Dry ice would become a combustible thrown into a room and put the whole house on fire.
Sounds like you're doing too much of this critical thinking.
Oh, I got a million of them. Like when they talk about the sun being thermal, the thermal, what do you call it, being... it just escaped my head. Anyway, it's nuclear, right?
You're right, yeah.
Okay, but if it was, we'd all be dead, because the radiation from that nuclear process would kill everybody on Earth. Right now, they got a solar probe going to the sun to observe and see what's going on. They call it the Parker probe. Parker, just so happens, is the guy who come up with that the sun is electric, not thermonuclear.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. And so a little bit of the truth is coming out, but people use critical thought and use the laws of nuclear fission and show that the radiation released from such a thing would kill everybody in the vicinity, especially on a reactor as big as the sun. Oh, boy, everything, space would be, you could not travel in space because radiation would be everywhere. It's virtually nowhere. We send people to the sun or to the moon and to outer space all the time, and they come back just fine. They have kids. And okay, another, critical thought, when you use it, it comes a long way. I love to use it on solar panels as well. It takes more energy to make a solar panel than you ever get out of it. Who comes up with these things? And they use taxpayer dollars to build stuff that they'll never get the amount. Can you imagine how much it costs just to scrap a solar panel after 20 years?
Well, like you said, it's a death cult, and that's really when you break it down, the only rational explanation for when you project the lines of what they're doing and saying.
Yes, and it's a method of control,
yeah.
And it has nothing to do with carbon. Good grief.
Yep.
Carbon is a necessary component of our atmosphere. We do better with more of it. And it doesn't do any heating. There is no science behind it. In fact, I can show you what causes heating. It happens on all the planets. You mentioned earlier about other planets are heating up.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to name the planets according to how hot they are, it would go Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, the furthest from the sun, then Uranus. Uranus is about the same temperature as the surface of the sun. All the others are hotter than that. And then it goes Venus, then Mercury, the closest one to the sun, then Earth and Mars. Because it all depends on their atmospheric thickness, not upon how close they are to the sun. Sun is only relevant, as far as the green zone, to photosynthesis. Nothing to do with heat. That's why on the top of the mountains you have snow. In the valleys you don't have snow, is because the higher you go, the less atmospheric pressure there is, the less friction, the less heat. And it's reproducible at everywhere it's tried. Every single time. And yet it's in none of the climate models. Isn't that funny?
Well, of course not, because it would debunk everything they're doing.
Yeah, it's called the Chinook winds. In fact, the Chinook winds have all of the temperature records in the Guinness Book of World Records. And yet it doesn't appear in any of the climate models. That's where the atmosphere heats up coming over the top of the Sierra Mountains and comes down the other side, which forms the hot, anyway, it heats up all the way across to Chicago. And it has the temperature records there because the air spontaneously heats, whether it's day or night, 5.4 degrees for every 1,000 feet it goes down because of air pressure. This is science, and yet they ignore it.
Well, and that's something that they don't want people to know. We really appreciate the science lesson. It's been really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And, it's you just break things down, and like the caller just laid out, and it just elucidates and illuminates how ridiculous this power grab really is.
Yeah.
And why, even though this video, I want to play again because a bunch of our listeners, probably, people go in and out, haven't heard it yet. But that's why Alexandria Cortez didn't condemn it, because this idea of radical action needs to be taken to solve this make-believe problem. You have to come up with ideas like this, and they're, like you said earlier, they're just copying what's been said by other elites. So this has been going on. This is a town hall meeting in New York recently with Alexandria Cortez, and a member of the audience stood up and talked about the things that need to be done to solve climate change. We'll play that.
Great. But we're not going to be here for much long because of the climate crisis. We only have a few months left. I love that you support the Green Deal, but it's not getting rid of fossil fuel. It's not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, we can eat dead people, but that's not fast enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time. There's too much CO2. All of you're a pollutant. Too much CO2. We have to start now, please. You are so great. I'm so happy that you're really supporting the Green Deal, but it's not enough. Even if we would bomb Russia, we still have too many people, too much pollution. So we have to get rid of the babies. That's a big problem. Just stopping having babies is not enough. We need to eat the babies, and this is very serious. Please give a response.
Thank you. We'll go ahead.
Okay.
No, we'll go ahead. No. Yeah, no. Thank you. So I think
she's not even condemning this lady. Like, hold on, I'm going to press.
Yeah,
pause.
no.
Can
So
you imagine? Let's just say she's like Hitler was right. If that was what her comment was, how fast would she be to condemn her and anybody else? If.
It'd be better if she said Mao was right, because no one would even know what he's.
Okay.
No, nobody would. Yeah, nobody even know what she's talking about. Nobody knows about the greatest mass murderer of the 20th century.
Stalin, nobody cares about, but Hitler, everybody's going to condemn.
Hitler was number 3. Hitler was third in line. Our ally was second. China was first.
It's insane. It's insane. So, but. The idea that she, if she brought that up, she'd be condemned. But the fact that she brings up eating babies, no condemnation at all.
The things that's very important to us is that we need to treat the climate crisis with the urgency that it does present. Luckily, we have more than a few months. We do need to hit net zero in several years. But I think we all need to understand that there are a lot of solutions that we have and that we can pursue, and that.
Well, of different solutions that we can pursue and look into. And
Like-
I'm not going to condemn baby eating.
But eating babies could be one of them. We need to,
It's crazy. Yes, she was a troll.
I don't doubt.
But AOC didn't condemn it, and she's like, "There's options to look into."
I don't doubt when the lady, she said, "There's many professors that said that we can."
No,
eat
she said
dead-"
Swedish. She was
Swedish-
referencing
Swedish
a specific professor.
Yeah,
that says
can
we need to eat dead people. It's real. Look,
yeah, like I can
Google's
believe
it.
that.
Yes, it's legitimate. And she's like, we can't eat enough dead people. We can't stop having babies. That won't be fast enough. We can't just bomb Russia. That won't solve the problem fast enough. We've got to start eating the babies. And then the sitting congresswoman is like, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we have a little more in a few months.
We got some time to look into the baby eating.
It's not off the table. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but it's not off the table.
What in the world? So back in the 1904-ish, there was a man by the name of Reed Smoot. Does that name sound familiar to you, Micah?
Sounds like a real smoot.
A real smoot. He was a man that was elected from the state of Utah to the U.S. Senate. And there was a bunch of Senate hearings because the U.S. Senate did not want to officially seat him. They were actually going to deny Utah a senator because they did not want to have Reed Smoot to be there. He was, and so they held all these hearings, did all of this dog and pony show to do what they could to stop him from actually becoming a senator. And what was his crime? Was he, accused of breaking any laws? Had never been convicted of anything. Wasn't a polygamist. None of these things that you would think would say, oh, hey, he wants to eat babies, let's not let him into the Senate. No, he would just simply because he was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they said, no, you're not allowed to be a senator. So they had hearings about this, but in 2019, a congresswoman can not rule out eating babies, and nobody is saying, oh, maybe she shouldn't be in Congress anymore.
Yeah, and despite, of course, that in the Constitution, you can't have any religious test for any kind of office or voting.
Or voting.
Qualifications of,
Yeah,
I mean, but we'll just go directly against that.
and we'll go against that, and then we'll support somebody that's not ruling out eating babies. Let's go to the phone lines. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 801-254-1640 is the number. Caller, you're on K-Talk Radio with Ben and Micah.
I guess there's hope for me. I'm half Swedish. I just don't have the autism.
Have you considered eating dead people?
Well, it's called Soylent Blue or Gray.
Green.
Let's call it Gray.
Soylent Blue. That's like
Soylent Gray.
that's in R&D right now, and I'm sure it'll come out next. I hear it's twice as nutritious as Soylent Green.
Yeah. Somebody needs to give Representative Steve Handy the red flag law that he's sponsoring. See if he'll put a gun-free zone sign in front of his own home. Bet he won't do it, but just be fun to try.
Well, everybody should report any legislator that is supporting red flag laws as dangerous. So, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. So, the science being settled. This is a death cult. This is state worship at its finest. This is what happens, at the height of a civilization that worships the state.
Yeah. AKA Satan.
AKA Satan. Wow. So there's a lot of different things going on. I want you to comment on this. We've got, not this first. Okay, we're going to do a couple things. Encourage you to download the Defending Utah app. We've got a lot of positive reviews on that. Make sure you're not missing any of our programs. We had one comment. Somebody said, responding to one of our programs where I talked about how we need to not just be hearers of the word. We can't just, I don't want to be the most informed person in the concentration camp.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to be involved. And if we're just listening to the program and listening to how ridiculous these people in power are, but not doing anything about it, then we're a part of the problem. And so somebody commented, said, isn't that pretty hypocritical of you, because all you're doing is going on the radio and talking about it? Micah, what do you think about that? Are we being pretty hypocritical because we're not doing anything about it? We're just sitting here on the radio talking? What would your response to that comment be?
Well, I guess we'll get off the radio, and you can go ahead and get on the radio, bro. How do you think about that?
Well, the idea that we're not doing anything. I mean, just because the Salt Lake Tribune or Desert News or KSL isn't covering the activities of Defending Utah because it would threaten their establishment. Yeah,
news is work. I don't get paid for this, and I don't even open my doors of my shop till 11 o'clock, but I'm here usually at 9.
I wouldn't even give you usually. But okay.
Usually, we'll go maybe a little louder, like 9, 10. I hate mornings with a passion.
But even beyond the radio show, we are doing the UN conference, just for example. We were there.
I took freaking 3 days off of work to go, muddle around amongst a bunch of fools and statists. They're all statists. A bunch of statists.
We've gotten legislators fired from their organizations. We've got them removed from their leadership positions in committees. We've gotten people off of criminal charges through jury nullification. The list goes on and on of the things that we've been able to do. We're not just here talking about how ridiculous the government is. We're involved in solving these problems.
Yes. We're here to inspire and instigate support for our efforts.
Right.
That's what the radio show is about.
Help you understand why there's a need for what we're doing. Because if you're going to watch KSL and think that's what's going on, you're going to be fooled into thinking there's no need to actually hold your legislators accountable. Because what do you hear about the legislature in the mainstream media? Utah is one of the best managed states in the country. We're so conservative.
And it's a freaking lie.
We have a balanced budget.
And that's also a lie. It's all lies. All of it is lies. Ridiculous.
Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to line 5. You're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah from Defending Utah.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Friday. I just thought it might be a good time to plug my pal's new restaurant. It'll be opening in Sugar House. It's called Bob's Real Baby Back Ribs. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all.
I appreciate everything you're doing to solve the climate crisis, and it means a lot to us.
That's so good.
And it makes sense that it'd be in Park City. If it's anywhere in Utah, it's going to be in Park City.
It gives a whole new outlook to that. What was that little jingle? I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Well,
I want my chilies, baby
I think he must have
ribs.
copied Fat. I don't know if you can say on the radio, Fat Bastard. Because remember that from Austin Powers? Get in my belly.
Get in my belly.
And he sang that same song. But so just because the Salt Lake Tribune, so the only time the Salt Lake Tribune's actually mentioned Defending Utah is when they said that, quote,
you better get those Defending Utah.
The legislature better get to Defending Utah in line or things are going to get dangerous. You don't do that because somebody's just yakking and flapping their lips on the radio. It's because we're actually exposing the bull-loney that is going on in government, and we're actually being effective in getting things done to set things straight. And so, but we can be even more effective when we have more people involved.
Yeah.
And that's why we're helping everybody. We're doing this radio show to help people understand what's going on so that they're not just thinking, oh, we're the best managed state. Oh, we've got a balanced budget. We're helping you see that our Republican legislature is actually taxing you more than people are being taxed in liberal states like Washington, Oregon, and dare I say, to some extent, even more than California. California doesn't even tax your food like Utah does.
Yeah.
Our legislature, people need to understand that we do not have a conservative legislature. We do not have conservative leadership in the legislature. Your governor wants to register BB guns. Your governor actually vetoed a bill to promote gun rights and constitutional carry. So we're here to help you understand that and then show you a solution that can actually restore liberty and has been effective in doing so. Let's go to the phone lines. If you want to be a part of the program in our last few minutes, 801-254-1640 is the number. Let's go to line 3. You're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah from Defending Utah.
Yes, this is a worldwide news flash, breaking news up to the minute. It turns out that the Mueller report and the dossier, there was a mistype, and it was not a golden shower. Actually, Trump is for the green movement, and he was going to Russia to eat babies. And also, it turns out that the Democrats are now for Trump, now that he's been secretly eating babies and part of the green movement. We don't have 2 years. I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Ray.
A new baby
You're
only has a few
for
minutes.
Good joke. Appreciate that, Ray. Let's go to line 5. You're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah from Defending Utah.
On a serious note, we have 2 things that we need to do to stop the warming of the earth. Number 1, we need to plant or restore the trees so that we can sit underneath the trees. And, of course, babies don't come wrapped in plastic. So eating the babies and planting the trees that are never wrapped in plastic. And so that way we put the trees back in, we get rid of the population, we get rid of the plastic because we don't have to wrap babies in plastic to eat them. And now, if you go buy a hamburger or a cow, right, which creates a lot of farts. By the way, cows fart a lot more than babies.
That's why Australia
do.
came out with a vaccine for cows to get them to stop doing that.
Did it work?
I don't know.
What a concept. Wow.
Maybe I should get my wife that one.
Oh, my gosh. Go ahead, caller.
Well, that was my contribution to the solution.
I appreciate that contribution.
Don't
Tom.
wrap babies in plastic and plant trees. Got it. Got enough.
Problem solved. Okay,
Thank you.
Let's go to line 4. You're on K-Talk with Ben and Micah.
Hey, tell that moron truck driver to stick to truck driving. Jokes ain't his thing.
Oh, man. Okay, thank you.
Jeez, that was mean.
That was, hey, we've all got our talents. We all want to be able to talk to each other, and
I was about to say some of us don't have our talents.
Let's all be nice to each other.
That was a mean.
That was mean. I might not thought it was that great,
super
but
mean. Are we doing the thing?
Which thing?
The end hour. I saw the screen flash over there.
No, that's the false start. So we've got we've got about a minute or so. So with this, we want to make sure that you know that to tune in to Defending Utah Radio every Friday morning right here on K-Talk from 9 to 11. And if you've missed a program, or you can also tune into special reports that we publish on our Defending Utah app. Make sure and download the Defending Utah app to your Android device, or subscribe to Defending Utah on your iPhone's podcast app. And make sure, if you like what we're doing, please help us to be able to continue, help us to expand. The more people that we have involved, the more we can do. That's just the law of thermodynamics, right? And
that's not a law of
thermodynamics. Science is not my forte, so I'll stick to everything else.
Just remove thermodynamics from your vocabulary. You'll be good.
Don't say it. But it's just the fact that the more people we have involved, the more that we can do. And so if you like what we're doing and want to see us do more, be involved, because that is what it takes to be able to. We spend a lot of time being able to research these things, not just doing things online, but also doing more in actual looking up documents, having to go on location. Some of the documents that we've uncovered, after we uncovered them, became missing again. And so it's important that we get your support. See you all next week. This Defending Utah presentation brought to you in part by Anderson Accounting, andersonaccounting.com, Trust Plumbing, 801-808-5470, Higher Calling Firearms, HigherCallingFirearms.com, Pioneer Family Scholars, Black Lotus Web Dev, BlackLotusWebDev.com, American Appliance at 801-254-2566, Shem Financial Services, 801-856-6151, and the law offices of Garrett T. Smith, 801-477-1570, and the Water of Champions at championsneverquit.org.
It's a fact. More photos of you are being taken than ever before. Are you ashamed of your smile? At last, a new technology that gives a brighter and healthier smile in under 2 hours. And it's fully warranted, so you'll never have to worry about your smile again. Call Dr. Jeremy Thompson at Thompson Dental, 801-254-0835, or visit GoNewSmile.com, and we'll show you how you can restore your faded, yellowed, or worn teeth without surgery, crowns, or implants. And it's backed by a 30-day, 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee. This scientific breakthrough will painlessly transform your appearance in one visit. The smile you've been waiting for will never cost less or look brighter than it will today. Call 801-254-0835 or visit GoNewSmile.com. That's GONU Smile.com to revitalize your smile. New Smile. It looks good on you.